Trump's credibility is on the line in delaying the Iran strikes, and is the delay giving Iran the opportunity to escalate the conflict?
I think in this context of this conflict, there was 4 weeks of war that we had, and that was preceded by a 12-day war. And so I don't think anybody is confused about Trump's weakness. He's shown strength when strength was required in terms of disabling Iran's nuclear program, but then he has shown restraint in order to give an opportunity for Iran to engage in some diplomatic outcome to this. The most troubling thing sort of recent news is the supreme leader framing this as jihad. He has now framed this conflict as a religious struggle. And that is significant because, there's always this question, is Iran a country or is it a cause? And when the supreme leader, the supreme religious authority, says that this conflict is a religious struggle, Iran is no longer behaving like a normal country, and it's going to become harder for them to find an off-ramp. That video you just showed of training Iranians to use guns and people saying that they're going to fight to their last man, that's not de-escalatory. There is stuff going on behind the scenes that is productive, but the supreme leader declaring this a religious struggle makes it more complicated.
Well, look, do you think the supreme leader's thinking like we think?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, so if we're able to look at this and say the supreme leader's in charge, which is a religious conflict, then they're not acting like a country. Do you think he's thinking like that? No, he's thinking about the overall conviction cause, a religious conviction that they have, that they've been, immersed in since birth, that this is their way of saying Allah is God and all of you guys have to die.
Right.
So the question is, does he have anything to carry it out with? And my concern is this: is there a secular, a secret, unknown nuclear device in their hands that we don't know about?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
Now, it may not be up to weapons grade.
Yeah.
But it still could be up to where it caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, because they also talk about such things as dirty bombs, where you go and you expose the elements, not in an explosive way, but it still is a destructive event. Yeah.
So if they are willing to hijack an airplane with a bunch of people on it and fly them into buildings.
Oh, yeah.
And call that heroic action.
Exactly, yeah.
What's stopping that mentality from blowing themselves up in thinking that they may have blown the world up?
The only thing that's stopping them is their inability to do it.
Okay.
That's why we have to keep it that way.
So I think we're heading into a conflict. What we don't know here is the strategy. We're not in the war room. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what Israel is willing to do.
Right.
Is Israel willing to put troops on the ground and go in there and get the uranium?
You know what? I would believe they are. Yeah.
I don't think we know the strategy between the military of Israel and the military of America working together and strategizing for this next.
Yeah.
But to that one point is, look, Iran has done something really well here. They have figured out how to delay, to delay, to delay, to delay, to delay. And I think that the pressure on the president, not only to fulfill his desire in this thing, and that is that they don't have a nuke, but I think the pressure on the president now to end this high gas prices is becoming paramount. And he has got to stop, because when inflation kicked in, and it is, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, and I hear there's a little bit of pressure right now on the president from our ally in Israel, in that they are losing a little bit of patience. The president is still kind of standing on the diplomatic approach, but Netanyahu is getting a little bit impatient with all of this, so they're having some interesting conversations.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You know why he's getting impatient?
Why?
Because I believe that Israelis' intelligence is a little bit more accurate than ours.
I think you're right, yeah.
So, all right, there we go. Those are some of the top stories on your strawberries and cream day.
Yeah.
It can be whipped. It can come out of a jar.
It can be frozen.
Come out of a can. And it could be in your freezer in the form of ice cream.
That's it.
All right, we'll be right back.
fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from theDove TV.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Okay, welcome back. And of course, as we go into this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend here in Southern Oregon, this takes on a very significant, inspiring event that's going to take place right here in Southern Oregon. I am so delighted to have with us here in the studio this morning Ron Cole. Ron is the president of the Vietnam Memorial Wall here in Southern Oregon. This has been an undertaking unlike anything we've ever seen here in our great city. And Ron is the guy for 12 years, from nothing to this coming weekend. There'll be an amazing ceremony there. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been it's quite emotional and everything else because why we never stopped.
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years.
From an idea where you, and then here you now you have 58,479 names on that wall.
Correct. And they're in the same order as Washington, D.C.'s.
Okay, and that order is what?
Well, as the way that they put the names on the wall was by the date of casualty. And that's how they're labeled as well. So if you go onto the website to find out that individual, it will tell what panel and the date on that.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. We got a bad file on that. We'll fix that. But I had Ron Cole on yesterday, and by the way, you can go. We haven't made this a big announcement, but our new website is up and running.
Right.
So you can go to our new website, go to the morning show, and you can watch that whole interview with President Ron Cole of the Memorial Wall there, the Vietnam Memorial Wall, in its entirety. We'll get this fixed, but I didn't want you to hear that because he is deserving to be heard clearly. But it deals with what I talked about earlier of this great ceremony coming up this weekend at the Vietnam Memorial Wall here in Southern Oregon. It is amazing. And by the way, President Ron Cole has worked, if you can believe this, 12 years on bringing this to where it is today.
I had no idea. That's amazing. Yeah.
And it's been 12 years in the making. It's like everything else you do in life. You know, good things just take time, and they are hard to do.
Yeah.
And he stuck with it. And he went to the wall in Washington, D.C. He stood there in the wall, and he promised every name on that wall that he would complete this project.
Wow. All right.
You know, And he comes back, and he was treasurer of the organization. Then he became president of the organization. And so for the last 12 years, he's been working on this project to get it to where it is today, starting in 2014. Wow. And so here he is now. Wow. And coming up Sunday is going to be the opening event of the wall, and rightfully so on Memorial Day. And the event's at 1:30, and it's just amazing. You know, you stand in front of that wall. I was over there several days ago just checking it out. To your point, I was driving by. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is.
Exactly.
You can't see it from the corner.
Pam was saying, where is it? I said, it's right there. It's on the corner, but it's on the other side. You can't see the wall here.
Because they got the dirt, and
right.
that'll all be grass like it is in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
The only thing that gives it away from the street is the flagpole.
Yep.
But if you go on the other side, you'll see the 59,000 names. What is it? Let's see. Oh, 58,479 names are on that wall. Those are how many lives we lost in Vietnam. And they're arranged panel by panel. There's a website where you can go. If you're looking for a particular name, you can go to the website, and then the website will tell you what panel the name is on.
Right.
The reason for that, the reason they didn't do it alphabetically is because they started with who died first. And so you'll see a name with either a dot or a plus sign or a cross next to it. The dot means they died there, and the cross means that they are missing in action, which is hard for us to believe, that a lot of people just didn't come home.
Right. Yes. Oh, boy.
You know,
there's a lot of discussions on why. You know, what actually happened to some, you know, because I think there's strong evidence that some were held captive.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
We've had some, you know, John McCain and others that have gone through these kind of MIA things.
Right, and they came home, but some didn't.
Some did not. Yeah. And the Vietnam War was the most politically charged war I think that we ever got involved in.
Yeah, and it was I'm sorry, it was the first war in our living rooms, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We watched it. They didn't have the sophistication that we have here. A lot of these guys came home and gals came home, and they were exposed to Agent Orange, which is now really taking their life back home. They came home to a veterans organization that was malfunctioning, you know, and all of those problems. And I'll just share the story again. I'll never, ever, all my life, ever forget it. I was flying. I was 4F'd. I was being drafted, and I got 4F'd. Okay. Which means you had a medical deferment. And even though I had pilot's license, I went and volunteered for the Air Guard and couldn't get in.
No kidding.
Once you're 4F'd,
you're 4F,
and I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Still can't hear anything. Ask Peggy. Okay. But here's the deal. I was flying for KCRA radio and television, and I got a call from the boss, two bosses, John Kelly and Verge Clemens, and they said, we want you to fly a camera crew into Travis Air Force Base, the first load of veterans that's coming back from the war.
Oh, wow.
So there was a way you could, I got airborne, and I knew what frequency to call, and I called, and they had prearranged it. So I was able to take a civilian aircraft, land on a Air Force base. Okay. Oh. And I had two guys in the back seat that had cameras. Okay. Okay. So we came in and we landed, we taxied over here, and we sat down, and we got out, and they had these big rope lines and everything, and the families and all this and that. And the camera crew was set up. Well, here comes the plane. A big 707 comes in, the first load of veterans coming home from Vietnam. And they landed and taxied around. And as these veterans and as these military people got off the plane, they came off the plane. Every one of them got off the plane and kissed the ground.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Every one of them.
Yeah. Oh,
okay? They could only wave at their families because they were afraid of their medical condition.
Oh.
Okay, they didn't know what they had.
Oh, yeah.
And Ancient Orange was being sprayed on them and everything else. They didn't know what they had.
Right.
So they got off the plane, and our camera crew's here filming all this, and they kissed the ground, and they put them in buses. And the moment they got outside Travis Air Force Base, there were people out there spitting on them.
Exactly. Yes.
And giving them finger signs and everything else.
Right. Calling them baby killers. And yes.
And they took them down to Oakland. And that was the center where they processed them and medically, you know, looked them over before they let him go. But I'll never forget that. And Vietnam was such a controversial war. And so the point being is that we have in our own backyard an amazing replica of the one in Washington, D.C., and the big celebration of this is going to be this coming Memorial Day at 1:30. I would highly recommend you getting there very early. A lot of veterans, they made arrangements for veterans that are handicapped in wheelchairs and crutches and things like that, families and then dignitaries. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on with the weather out there, because Jerry says it's nice. Is it?
Yeah, look, it looks pretty good.
Okay, let's check it out. Did I say satellite, or are we going to do a full report?
Yeah, we should have gone to full report, but that's okay. We can talk about this because it's nothing but clear out there and warming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting temperatures that are climbing up towards what? What do you think we're going to get today?
I'm going to guess 82.
Yeah, well, I'm saying 86 to 89.
Well, you're better off.
Well, I'm also looking at my app.
Oh.
I'm cheating, but it's going to stay like this through the weekend. Nice weather, but it certainly presses upon our need for irrigation, and that creates issues in itself, doesn't it?
Well, I was told yesterday by some irrigators that water could be very limited, and the season for farmers could be really hampered.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I went to an airport thing here the other day. We were talking about having fuel to fuel firefighting airplanes.
Oh.
And the cost of that. I mean, all of this thing is starting to hone in. You know, right outside our door here, they park those big things.
Yep.
And so we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right. Well, on this day in 1914, yes, a laid-off Minnesota miner unknowingly launched one of the most recognizable and iconic travel companies in America. Swedish immigrant Carl Eric Wickman had failed at selling cars, so instead he used a 7-passenger Hupmobile to drive iron workers between towns in northern Minnesota, charging just 15 cents a ride. That tiny transportation service eventually grew into Greyhound Bus Lines, a company that would become a symbol of American road travel for generations. Here's a fun fact. The name Greyhound reportedly came from a passenger who said one early streamlined bus looked like a greyhound dog racing down the road. By the 1930s, Greyhound connected cities coast to coast, carrying everyone from soldiers and students to musicians and families chasing new opportunities. And for many Americans, those silver buses became more than transportation. They became part of the American story itself.
Yeah, they did.
You ever take a trip on Greyhound?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You just did it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I actually only had one actual Greyhound trip. And Pam and I were living in New York, but we were on the West Coast. Her mom's in the Bay Area. And my dad wanted to go fishing out of Monterey area. And down the coast. And, we didn't have our car because we flew out. And you can't fly down there. So I thought, well, how am I going to get down? He goes, well, get on a Greyhound bus. I said, okay. So I got on, got my ticket, got on the bus. And on the way down, I'm sitting next to this guy, young guy, who's coming home. He's been working as a commercial fisherman in Alaska. Oh. Now, we're going salmon fishing off the coast of California. And so I started talking to him, and he's got salmon with him. He goes, you want some? I said, yeah. So he gives me some fresh salmon. I get off the Greyhound bus. There's my dad and his buddy waiting for me. Yeah. And I come carrying this salmon. And he goes, you're the only guy that can get off a Greyhound bus to go salmon fishing carrying salmon.
Well, Dad, the fishing's great on the bus.
That's right. I love Greyhound. Yeah, what a way to travel.
What a way to travel. All right, good stuff. Well, Jonathan Romney, he's the guy that plays Jesus.
Oh, yes, on the Chosen.
The Chosen?
Yeah.
He participated in the rededication there in Washington, D.C. And here's a little bit of his speech.
God doesn't need prayers from the flawed human who plays Jesus on TV. He wants the prayers of all of his children, because that's who we are. We are his, and he is ours, whether you realize it or maybe not yet. Our existence on earth is merely a rest stop between the mortal and the immortal, the earthly and the divine. God has always been there long before us. He always will be, now and forever, world without end. And he will always be waiting to encounter us, secretly hoping in his divine, limitless, sacred heart that we will humbly turn away from the trappings of this world and seek him first with all our soul, all our heart, and all our strength, not only as individuals, but collectively as a nation. His deepest desire for us as a people is to love him above all else and to love one another as ourselves. It is in this rightly ordered relationship that the treasures of heaven are then bestowed upon us here on earth. Psalm 33 assures God's promise to a nation faithful to him. But the plan of the Lord stands forever, the designs of his heart through all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people chosen as his inheritance. This is the secret to unlocking his blessing and providence, and it costs nothing. You don't have to pay, despite what the internet will tell you, some random app $2 a minute to talk to fake AI Jesus when the real Jesus is right in front of you, arms outstretched. Arms outstretched, ready to meet you exactly where you are in this moment. So do as he tells you. Go to him, all you who are weary and burdened, and he will give you rest. No matter who you are, or what you've done, or how long it's been, or how bad things might all seem when you get stuck in the doom scroll of it all. Simply stop and pray.
Yeah.
His story is really quite remarkable. You know, he got the part of playing Jesus on The Chosen, and he will tell you that he was honored and he was a believer. But that whole series, that whole recording, and I think it's still going on. It deepened him to a point where he's actually doing these stop and pray moments on TV.
Oh yeah.
You know, you'll see those.
Yeah.
So his own personal walk with the Lord has deepened to a whole new level, and there he is up there, you know, talking like that.
That was wonderful, and I especially appreciated his comments on AI Jesus.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
Well, there's quite an article out, I don't know what it is today, Thursday, sometime this week, about how people are literally creating false relationships with AI.
No doubt.
Yes. It's fantasy world.
Yes, it is fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so anyway, he brings. There's only one little comment there.
Huh.
I never thought I'd see Jesus in a sport coat.
I know, a blue plaid sport coat with a pocket square. The whole thing caught me. I thought, wait a minute, Jesus is styling.
Hey, we'll be right back.
I'm glad you said that.
Tries to water you down where beliefs cannot be spoken too loud. I'll stand for truth.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere, and everyone is your friend. The fishing is great, and the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, you can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
In a world desperately seeking truth, Cliff Connectley and his son Stuart travel across the U.S. to give an answer for questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
What is the evidence that Muhammad spoke the truth? What is the evidence that Jesus Christ spoke the truth?
Their mission is to ignite a passion for truth, guide individuals to embrace faith, and help people find purpose, engaging skeptics.
It kind of sounds like then that God punished us The vast majority of chaos in nature is a direct result of God stepping back.
They're driven by a deep commitment for spreading the message of Christ to a world who needs Him.
But you see, what Satan has done is he's put doubt in our mind.
Join them as they strive to make a lasting impact on lives and hearts, sharing the love of Jesus with an unwavering dedication.
Because God loves you, and God has given you gifts.
Watch Give Me an Answer, weekdays at 3 on the Dove TV.
Sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. We replay our mistakes, carry guilt, expect perfection. But God's grace isn't like that, and He's extending an invitation to you today to receive that grace. His mercies are new every morning, and that includes for you too. So, get rid of that inner critic and just feel God's grace. He's renewing your love and letting you shine through it.
Ooh, got to get going here. 8 minutes before the hour. I had Megan Barth on yesterday. She's now the executive editor of the California Globe, which is a publication covers California, Nevada, and surrounding areas.
Okay.
Quite informed. And as you know, California has an open primary, and now they've gotten to the point where it's really messy.
Mm-hmm.
It's backfired on the Democrats big time.
Yes.
One of the top people is Steve Hilton, who looks like he's going to be one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her, I said, you know, the Democrats spent a lot of money lately trying to analyze themselves as to what went wrong in the last couple of election cycles, and they won't really release the report.
Yes.
It's so bad that they won't even talk about it among themselves.
Right.
So anyway, I said, what do you think about all this? And here's what she had to say.
I think they're somewhere between Bernie Sanders socialism and full-blown communism. And they don't really know how to tread that water or thread that needle. Because when you look at what's going on for, like, Mandami, for example, they believe that, you know, he is the next leader of their party. And you have what I would consider, I guess, moderate Democrats, but what's a moderate Democrat to a communist these days? I don't really know what a moderate Democrat is. I certainly can say with full conviction that you do not have a Democrat Party in the eyes or the style or the making of the JFK brand. It's no longer ask not what your country can do for you. It's ask what your country can do for you, demand your country do something for you, and you don't have to do a darn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when you look at their numbers, they're like not only nearly bankrupt, but they are hundreds of millions of dollars behind the RNC as far as fundraising is concerned. That's not a good look going into the midterm. When you look at the rising anti-Semitism in their party, and there's also some on the right as well. However, I think they're paid actors. But when you look at the rising anti-Semitism in their party, they are going to have a very hard time. And when you look at how they are embracing illegal immigration, historically democratic demographics shifting, well, then where are they going to go? They're going to go to illegal immigration. And that's why Joe Biden imported tens of millions of illegal aliens and trafficked them into our country. So the Democrats are really having a hard time. For example, I'll make one last point. Now, all of a sudden, they're the populist, economic populist party. I thought populism was bad. But their economic populism, according to them, and this is what I've read, is socialism. So they have fully embraced socialism. And I've always said that they are the party of socialists. That's where socialists find their home. That's where communists find their home. They certainly don't run around campaigning for the RNC. Now, this latest populist message that they think is going to win, you know, the old blue-collar worker, you've got a guy in Maine running against Susan Collins that has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. So Democrats would, under the guise of economic populism, are going to run a dude with a Nazi tattoo on his chest. That's how far the Democratic Party has fallen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now they're going to attack Christine as being racist, a wacko, a mega person, all this other stuff.
Yes.
So understand how the game's played a little dirty. And the main thing is it's trying to drive you out of the participation of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And not vote.
Yep.
All right, well, listen, we got a lot more to talk about. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Here's the key word, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. That's you, that's me, that's your neighbor. We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Another attempt on President Trump's life over the weekend. I think they hate this man so much that at any cost, at any excuse, any way, they want him gone. I think the real reason here is that he's taken 60 years of the slow evolution of the democratic stronghold in America with corruption and fraud and the advancement of socialism and turned it upside down.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
The Legacy Luncheon, hosted by the Dove and Youth 71.5. Tuesday, June 2nd, 12 to 2 at the Dove Studios.
You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes, the day before.
Yeah.
Well, listen, good morning. That's Jerry right there. That's all that counts.
Yeah, right.
So today is Thursday.
Yep.
It's going into Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
I'm announcing that commerce will probably end at noon today.
All right.
Everybody will be in let's get out of here mode.
And the weather's cooperating for it?
It's going to be warm.
Yeah.
Could be hot.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of dry grass out there.
Yeah.
And we're in kind of a water critical season, so be careful.
Hey, do you have all your burn piles eliminated?
Yeah, I got one underneath the wire at the right time. So probably now I'll start making one for the fall.
Okay, well, ours has been started. In fact, ours is filled. We had one big burn pile, we got rid of it, and then Pam realized, hey, we need a pole saw because we got some limbs to do here. I said, what? Have you seen my leg? I said, and she goes, yeah, I know, but come on.
Yeah, get on the ladder.
Come on, go up that ladder with a pole saw. So we have created a whole new burn pile that's going to sit there until fire season's over.
Probably no.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what a sight. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot in the news, there always is. But the bottom line here is now getting warm and dry quickly.
Yep.
And the water situation in the state is not good, so be careful out there.
Right, be careful. Just send it in a memo to somebody, because it is National Memo Day. A memo, short for memorandum. And in 1949, the term memo originated with the invention of the inter-office memorandum, a written communication used within an organization to share important information among employees. And memos still take place, but now things are digital, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. And
I want to send a memo to 65% of this state of Oregon.
Oh, please. What would you say in that memo?
Well, let me. I'll tell you what I should say in that.
Okay, please do it. Yeah.
Why didn't you vote?
Yes.
65% of eligible Oregonians did not vote.
Wow. I'm
looking at the number right here
Yeah,
off the state Secretary of State
That's not
website.
good.
I go, this is just so pathetic.
What do people need to do to get involved? What's
you need to understand? You need to avail yourself a little bit to how the game is played, and I say that respectfully. It's a war game. And it's bad.
Yeah.
And but part of the left's motive is to make it so ugly and dirty that you don't get involved, and you take up a very cynical attitude. Why bother?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, God could have taken up that same attitude when it comes to humans on Earth.
Well, yes. Yeah.
But he didn't. He sent one person to solve the problem.
Right.
Okay. And the only thing I can say is that 65% of eligible voters that didn't vote is shameful.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, well. Send a memo.
Send a memo. All right. I'll get that out right away.
National American Red Cross Founders Day, looking all the way back to Clara Barton,
Clara?
who served in the Civil War, attending to Union soldiers, went to Europe and got involved in the International Red Cross, and then brought it home. And our hats off to this volunteer organization. Also National Wait Staff Day, sometimes known as servers, a big determining factor in the quality of your dining encounter, and of course reflected in your tip to that server.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. You got, tip your server. We all know the phrase. The trouble is that especially since COVID, tips are almost expected everywhere. I'm almost expected to tip my gas pump after I'm done pumping the...
Well,
it's crazy.
Do you like the ones where they take your card and they hand you the thing?
Yeah, so you can touch which tip you're going to get?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. And they watch which one you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Yes. Yeah.
I like it in the little envelope where I can write down there.
Next time I do that,
$3.84.
Right. They got three options usually on the tip. I'm going to play like three-card Monte or the shell game with it. I'm going to go like this, say, okay, which one do you think I'm doing?
Well, I just don't understand. I mean, the good thing is, God bless President Trump, and that is...
oh, yes.
No tax on tips.
No tax on tips.
Okay.
And you know what? If you get good service, we want to tip, and we want to tip well. And especially, I think, ex-servers themselves, they appreciate good service at their table, and they're also very, honest about when they're not getting good service.
Well, I've often... where was I? I can't even remember. But, I get this bill.
Okay.
And it didn't have a suggestion tip on it. It just said tip.
Okay.
I thought, why couldn't we just do that?
Yeah.
Why do you have to suggest 15, 20, 25?
Yes.
Why can't you just say tip?
Tip. Right. Like the good old days.
And tip what you feel is good.
Right.
And
And
when they put percentages on it, it's kind of like you're intimidated to tip.
Yes.
And I don't like that.
Okay, and the tipping standards are kind of changing, aren't they? I mean, wasn't 15% standard before?
Well, it's called inflation.
Wait a minute, I thought that was reflected in the prices in the menu.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Do you know how tips work? I mean, so you tip everybody.
Yeah.
All right. At the end of the day, does the restaurant owner divide it equally among the staff?
It depends on where you're working and how that works, but oftentimes tips are divided, yeah. Many times, yeah.
Okay.
So
I was wondering how that works.
Yeah, and I don't know if it begrudgingly or not, you know, because some people work harder than others. It's like, wait a minute, you're taking my tips.
Well, have you ever had a bad waitress or waiter?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
You know, some that have an attitude?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I've left notes on tips.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The risk is, you know what the risk is?
What?
They have your credit card number.
Oh, gosh. You know, I'm glad you said that. You know, that has crossed my mind so many times when I give up that credit card. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now they have your number, and if you you know, could they? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm being too conspiratorial.
I know. Yeah. I know what it is. See, they take your card back there and they're going to run it, and they have a little block of Play-Doh and they press it in there, and then
See, I do suffer from cynicism, and I'm sorry about that because I criticize that a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have your wait staff, your server, bring you some strawberries and cream, because that is what day it is. It's what we have to eat. And this combination dates back to Tudor England, where it was served at royal banquets. Legend credits Cardinal Thomas Wolsey with pairing strawberries and cream at a banquet all the way back in 1509. We're watching on the video here the famous Wimbledon strawberries and cream recipe as it's being prepared, because in 1714, the first Wimbledon was held, and strawberries and cream became part of its traditions. Yes. And it makes a great dessert, but it can also be eaten for breakfast or a snack. Add a little granola for texture, enjoy a little chocolate drizzle. However you enjoy it, you can't go wrong with this treat. It is what's for breakfast today. I like the tennis balls on the side there. That is the famous. I didn't realize that. You know, I think this is a lot easier to take. You know, going to Wimbledon and having strawberries and cream than going to Kentucky Derby and drinking mint juleps all day.
I was just thinking the same thing. Well, I love watching tennis.
Yeah,
it's just a great sport. So I'll do the Wimbledon thing.
Yeah, me too. I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh, we broke all the rules here.
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay, here's a guy still looking for a tip.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With high pressure over our region, conditions stay mostly clear and warming up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with highs in the mid-80s for Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with sunny skies and highs near 84 in Salem and low 80s for Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north-northwest wind getting breezy around Eugene this afternoon. Sunny to mostly sunny across central Oregon with highs in the mid to upper 70s for Prineville, Bend, and Sun River. Sunny skies and breezy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 78 and low near 48. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny and breezy from the northwest with highs near 70 for Port Orford and Brookings and mid-60s for Coos Bay and down around Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunshine for the Rogue Valley and across the Klamath Basin, with high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, mid-80s around Ashland, and near 79 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny in mid-80s in Wairika, but warming up to near triple digits for Redding and Chico with highs near 99 or 100. Over in Fort Bragg, patchy fog, then sunny in upper 50s. There will be sunshine across the Bay Area with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, low 70s in San Francisco with a light southwest wind, and today in San Jose, a high near 88. For Central California, sunny and warming up with high temperatures at or around 97 from Sacramento through Stockton, Modesto, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with lows in the low to mid-50s. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Okay, there's a classic shot. Now, that's a little bit to the northwest. In fact, looking right at the airport.
Yeah.
And look how it went from green to brown.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the tint is changing.
It is there. And
Absolutely.
with going into the 80s, folks, just be careful, especially this weekend. Be very careful.
But isn't that a beautiful slice of God's creation?
Yes, that's our backyard.
Yes, we get to inhabit that. Well, Dr. David Jeremiah highlights the power of God by looking at his creation.
the evidence of God's power in creation. Here's what Romans says. What may be known about God is plain. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. How do we know God is powerful? When we study creation, we see the power of God. God spoke and the world came into being. I know the evolutionists don't like this truth, but it doesn't matter. One of these days they'll get it right. But the Bible says God created the heavens and the earth. Argue with it if you want. Believe it or not, you cannot mess with the truth. The world is the world that God spoke into being. Frankly, as hard as it is to believe that makes a whole lot more sense to me than the modern explanations that I read about in the evolutionary documents. His power was conveyed to build this world by the simple syllables of his speaking. Psalm says it this way, by the word of the Lord the heavens were made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He spoke, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast.
Wow.
Well, it's an amazing thing when you think of it. All you got to do is walk outside at night and look up.
Yeah. Yep.
And that'll kind of take your breath away.
Oh, totally.
So the big three.
Okay.
God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-present. Where can you go to run away from God?
Can't.
You can't.
Yeah, can't.
Okay, so if you can get Genesis down in your head, and the hard part about Genesis is believing that he spoke it into existence.
Yeah, the power of his word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff all the way around. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday, and hopefully as you leave town today, or wherever you're going. Even though tomorrow's still a work day.
Enjoy.
You may want to show up tomorrow. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the top stories out there today. Cuba's back in the news, which is kind of interesting. As you know, Cuba, we had a story a couple of days ago that somebody gave them about 300 drones. The question is, what kind of drones are they, and how do they plan to use them, and are they trained to use them?
Oh, I wonder.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, the president has issued USS Nimitz to be deployed to the Caribbean and kind of, looking into the shadows of Cuba, sitting out there. So this is kind of a huge statement. I don't think the president thinks that military action is needed, but maybe. You never know. What do you do with 300 drones?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so anyway, Nimitz is sitting off the shores there. So if you're going to do a walk on the beach in Cuba, there at Havana,
you're seeing the
one of your big cigars, you may want to look out there. You can see a big thing. It's not a mirage. It's actually a boat out there with a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in the meantime, as you know, Raul Castro has been indicted by a grand jury in Florida for crimes 30 years ago, and you can explain that, where they killed these guys coming in with humanitarian aid.
Right.
Which is what? What happened?
Well, there was a group that were bringing humanitarian aid into Cuba, and they infiltrated the group, got the information about where and when they were flying in. Raul Castro was the defense minister, so everything went through through him, and they shot him down and killed the crew. Yeah.
So anyway, a grand jury now has indicted him, and so the question is, do we go in and get him like we did out of Venezuela?
I wonder. Now, they say, because he's not in power anymore, but they say he is still the most powerful guy in Cuba. So if we went in and got Raul Castro, would that kind of be the tipping point to get this thing moving to maybe repatriate Cuba with the rest of the free world?
Good question, because Secretary of State Marco Rubio wants to send $100 million aid into the country, but he wants it distributed through the Catholic Church so that it literally gets to the people.
Right.
Cuba is out of oil.
Yeah.
Cuba's in a really tough spot here, so we'll see what happens. In the meantime, as I was surfing through the networks looking at the story back, anyway. I'm checking all the other sources. And the only thing I can say is that the legacy media was saying, yeah, he must be held to legal accountability. It's critical that he's held, but so should President Trump.
Of course.
And they cannot do anything. And every one of them, every one of those cross networks were saying, Trump is guilty of the same thing.
Of course.
And so I'm thinking, okay, can't you guys give this thing, can't you give the story its own credibility?
Right. No.
They can't do it.
Trump's got to be involved in everything with them.
It was just, it's just one of those stories that it was across the board, you know.
Oh, sure.
So they got him indicted. I don't know how they enforce this, but does that open up for the United States to go in and do a midnight raid like they did in Venezuela?
Yeah, a little law enforcement action, not a military action.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement.
Yeah,
action.
we got to redefine who does what, I guess. Okay. In the meantime, who is running Iran?
Oh, great question. Yeah.
They say the Iran's supreme leader. So you have the supreme leader, and then below that you have the president and all that.
Okay.
So who's the supreme leader over the president? The supreme leader is the leader of the religious part of the.
Now, is this the son of the ex-supreme leader?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Who's injured or wounded or we're not
They say
sure.
it's so banged up that they can't even. This is all.
Yeah.
They say.
Yeah.
That he's so banged up that he can't go on TV.
Right. Right, because we haven't seen him since that strike.
But
Yes.
supposedly he's still calling all the shots.
Apparently.
And he is saying, no, we will not give up our weapons-grade uranium. So if you got to remember, the president came to the table yesterday saying that all of his allies said they're close to a deal, so he held off, and now none of this is materializing. So the supreme leader is waving his saber in the air and say, you guys have a nice day and take a royal jump because we're not giving up anything.
Yeah.
And so that's what the supreme leader is saying. The military people are saying, we're pretty much devastated. We haven't got anything left.
Right. Right.
I don't know. Look, I think we're heading towards a conflict, unfortunately, and I'm not for war, but I think this one has to be finished.
Do you think they're having these conversations in our administration, namely, are we talking to the right people? How do we know we're talking to the right people? It's got to be a subject that they're discussing.
I think they're relying heavily on Israeli intelligence to determine who they're talking to and do those people have any weight. Because part of the ploy is, well, they go out and they have a big peace powwow with somebody and they make all this agreement, and then the supreme leader says, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think, look, it's pretty obvious now that you can't trust these people. They're liars. To think we can make a deal is crazy. And our friends and allies over there in Israel are getting a little impatient.
Well, and it's got to be quite a learning curve for them in Iran as well, because they've been dealing with past administrations that they could basically say anything they want to with no recourse.
Yeah.
Now there's a little different sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And I don't think they know how to digest this.
Well, you got to remember, the president said they were within an hour of giving the order.
Yeah.
So that hour is in a pause mode, and I can't help but think we're going to see action. You know, we're heading into the weekend. It could be this weekend. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
A little bit of a story here that's kind of interesting, and I was surprised how quickly it made the headlines. It was headlines for about 3 hours yesterday, and then it kind of faded away.
Oh.
And that is Vanessa Trump, who is the former wife of Donald Trump Jr., 5 children they have, and she reveals that she's been dealing with breast cancer. And the amazing part about this story is that all the other Trumpers, if I can put it that way, the sister and the other brother and his wife, they circled the wagons around her and really are protecting her. Which is really a virtuous thing to see happen. And apparently she's getting really great strength from everybody inside the Trump family, even though she's not in the family, so to speak.
Well, well, she's still a Trump, and she's got 5 kids with the last name Trump.
Yeah.
And you have to admit that this is not something, you know, her past relationship with Donald Trump Jr. hasn't been, you know, tabloid fodder. It's not something that we've been getting all these inside secrets, and it's been, you know, I think handled quietly and with some dignity. I don't know what the issues were in their marriage, but she is a Trump, and they have circled the wagons around her.
To me, it was very good. I have concerns about Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think of him what he thinks he is.
Okay. you may be onto something there.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Let him just go ahead and run your dad's business. But
yeah, apparently that's going okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess he's engaged to somebody else and all that stuff. And we're supposed to be happy about all that stuff? I feel sorry for the 5 kids.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Well, anyway, believe it or not, those are the top stories today. We'll be right back. We'll go have some strawberries and ice cream.
Yeah, please.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful. And another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. And, yesterday, day before, I should say, was the Oregon's primary. And I had a chance to kind of go down through the ballot a whole bunch more. Looked at a lot of the county races and various positions for House and Senate and everything else. So most of the races and most of the measures and levies and all that have been pretty much determined, even though there will be some ballots that will kind of trickle in between now and next Monday. Yeah. But the sad part about it is 65% of eligible voters in the state of Oregon didn't vote. Just amazing.
That is.
There are two big things on the ballot. One was who's going to be the Republican nominee for governor up against Governor Tina Kotek, and the other one was Measure 120, which was the $4.3 billion tax. That went down in flames.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got a solution to this. You don't vote. You get the tax increase 120. The rest of us don't.
Well, there you go. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And yet I think I understand the reason why people don't vote. It's not a good one.
It's this cynicism.
Is that public service has become demonized.
Yes.
So bad. It's it's no longer honorable.
Right.
It's dishonorable, and it's muddy, it's dirty, it's bloody.
Yep.
And all of that has been part of the left's ploy to keep people out because they win with low turnout. And so anyway, but 65% of those who were eligible that didn't vote, that's pretty bad. But one of the things that happened is that, it looks like now Christine Drazan has now been declared the Republican winner of the primary to go up against Tina Kotek in November. And now this is their second run against against the current governor. She came close last time, and I think she probably will win this time.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that are going in her favor. The gas tax is one of them, the nonsense, the budgeting, everything else. She's the most experienced of the three candidates that were running. The other two were great, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of others, but she's been there, she's worked the budget, she understands it, she's done this drill before. Had a nice note from her the other day. She texted me yesterday.
All right.
And we chatted back and forth.
Good.
And I congratulated her. So we're off and running. But
Right.
she wasn't declared winner more than 10 minutes. And the left start putting out social media plants that she's nothing more than a mega radical that needs to be put out.
Of course, yeah. I have one question. Will the other candidates rally around her, those who didn't make it?
Well, we'll see. I mean, Ed Deal he actually was a good candidate. I talked to him. I interviewed him. He made the statement that we ought to get together shortly after the election and pull everybody together. Okay. The other people that ran have already withdrawn. In other words, they said that she's the winner.
Okay.
Chris Dudley and all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Bruce Starr, who is now the minority leader in the Senate, has put together, and I don't know when it is, I think it's early next week, let's all of us get together as Republicans. Let's have a luncheon, a reception, let's all get together and strategize how the door's open for us to do this. And so he's going to try to pull it all together, and he's the right guy to pull it all together. So I look forward to Bruce to doing this. And I hope that the other gubernatorial candidates get in behind. But understand this, folks, they are already going to demonize her as being a Trumper.
Oh, yeah, she's radical.
Radical,
Yep.
all this and that. And the only thing interesting is that none of that holds water because she's been a candidate. This is her second go. Everybody knows who she is.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, we know that there are portions of the mainstream press that will carry that water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand something very simple. Nobody's perfect. We're dealing with humans. And so, but this is the chance that we've had in a long time to break this blue streak.
Yeah.
And I pray to God we understand this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out stocks and Wall Street with a guy that's also a radical. Preston with he's a radical.
You're right.
Anyway, the Dow's up a whopping 21 points. The Nasdaq's down 65, and the S&P is down almost 12. So I'm not sure what those numbers. One on the gas, two on the brake. So we'll see what happens. Kind of a slow start to today's run. So let's take a look at gold's always an indicator. It's at 45.20. Silver's still hanging in there around $75, $76. And crude oil's up, but literally down $1. So it was 108, it's 107, and yet it says it's up.
I can't follow the arrows on crude. I know, this is just too confusing.
I do know this.
What?
$4.99 this morning.
$4.99 real on regular gas?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went by and waved at it.
I love it.
I saw it down here. I went down there.
All right. Well, what we've been talking about is who's in charge. When
Who's in charge?
Yeah, who's in charge in Iran? And do they even know themselves? Is it kind of like this? They're hunkered down in a bunker, and the guy says, I'm in charge, until the bombs start dropping. And he says, he's in charge. I don't know. Because is Khamenei really in charge? And we don't know where this person is or anything about it. So Fox Business's Stuart Varney spoke with former U.S. Special Representative for Iran, Brian Hook, who elaborated about the questions surrounding Khamenei actually being in charge and President Trump's goals.
It does seem that way. He has not made any public appearances, but he has put out statements at significant times. So he continues to be the supreme leader. And that's not just the commander-in-chief. It's not a one-to-one like a Western system. He is the supreme religious authority, and he is the commander. And he seems to possess both of those powers in spite of being injured during the last conflict. You've had, as the President said the other day, you've had the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Qataris have all asked for more time to pursue the diplomatic track. And I'm sure our military, as you just reported, Stuart, is preparing the theater in case the president gives the go order. He had that long phone call with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I think everybody understands the seriousness of purpose here. He is trying to solve once and for all the threat of Iran's nuclear program. And one of the things that we can't lose sight of, this is how Iran behaves without a nuclear weapon. They have attacked 12 or 13 countries. They have turned the Strait of Hormuz into this, they've stopped it, we've stopped it. But this is how they behave without a nuclear weapon. And the president is trying to sort of make sure that we never have to deal with a nuclear holocaust because the Iranian regime acquires a nuclear weapon.
Great point. Yep. Yep.
We have to understand that the Supreme Leader isn't thinking like this.
Yeah, right.
He's been trained and indoctrinated to respond from his position. So, look, we're heading for a conflict. Just get ready.
Yep.
We'll come to work one morning and it'll be the big story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so bananas and cream. Whipped, thick, half and half, or frozen?
Yeah.
You and Steve Johnson went to the same answering.
No, it's all good, man.
Okay,
it's all good.
I will be right back.
All right.
Tear down the walls, dance in the freedom. Awake our souls, awake our souls. Open our eyes to see it, 'cause everywhere the king.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538. Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most, living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris and his crew are courteous. They're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Something has happened to our country here where we're glorifying assassinations and killings and killing babies, and we're glorifying taking God's creation and turning it upside down and throwing it on its head where a boy can become a girl and a girl become a boy. I mean, the whole thing. At what point are you going to wake up and realize that we are fighting something that's spiritual?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
Hi, welcome back. Well, the president is responding to the Supreme Leader. The Supreme Leader says, no, you cannot have our enriched uranium. The president now is responding to that. So we're going to check in with our friends Julie Stahl and Chris Mitchell with CBN News and find out just where that's going.
President Trump said Iran may only have days left to agree to a deal, warning the situation has reached a critical moment and could escalate rapidly if Tehran refuses to meet U.S. demands.
It's right on the borderline, believe me. If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. It would have to be a complete 100% good answers. And if we do, we save a lot of time, energy, and lives.
While Iran is said to be considering the latest proposal, media reports citing U.S. intelligence say the regime is taking the time to rebuild its drone and missile launching capabilities. Trump said the negotiating window could close swiftly.
Could go very quickly, or a few days. It could be a few days, but it could go very quickly. Iran is a defeated nation.
The president also dismissed talk of conflict between himself and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after reports surfaced of a heated phone call. Trump insisted Netanyahu remains fully aligned with Washington's approach.
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. Very, very good man. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister, and he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion.
Trump also confirmed the United States and Israel continue coordinating closely on the conflict in the Middle East. In Lebanon, a new poll suggests the overall majority of the population wants peace with Israel, with majorities of its Druze and Christian communities supporting a peace agreement. Support among Sunni Muslims was narrowly favorable, while overwhelming opposition remained among the Shiite community. Although most supported a peace deal with Israel, 59% still opposed normalizing ties with Jerusalem. Even so, support for normalization is growing, rising from 13.2% to 41% since August of 2025. Meanwhile, Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir sparked international criticism after posting a video of himself confronting detained Gaza flotilla activists at Ashdod port.
Welcome to Israel. We are the landlords.
U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee joined the criticism, noting that nearly every senior Israeli official condemned what he called a stupid stunt. The incident prompted Italy and Spain to summon Israeli ambassadors for reprimands, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly rebuked Ben-Gvir, saying the behavior did not reflect Israel's values. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our bureau chief, Chris Mitchell, joins us right now. So, Chris, as we heard in Julie's report, reports of a tense call between President Donald Trump and Israel's prime minister. It's getting a lot of attention. What can you tell us about the relationship?
Well, the relationship actually, many people see Ephraim as historic. Some people would compare it to Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher when they were both opposing the Soviet Union. Way back 10 years ago, decades ago. But right now, this is a relationship that's really stood the test of time since President Trump came in. The discussion, and perhaps heated discussion, probably has a lot to do more with tactics. They both agree that Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, that it has to give back its enriched uranium. But I think the concern for Netanyahu is that the delay by President Trump and allowing these negotiations to go forward is actually just playing into Iran's hands. And so I think that could be the reason for the disagreements, a matter of tactics, not just an overall strategy, which they agree they must make sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon.
Chris, CNN is reporting that Iran is restoring its drone production capabilities a lot faster than expected. What does this say about how Iran is using this time during the ceasefire?
Well, it plays into exactly what Netanyahu has been saying, as well as many Israelis are saying, that this ceasefire right now is not a time that Iran is looking at to end the conflict, but just a time to restore, to replenish its arms, its drones, UAVs and ballistic missiles, perhaps anything they can do to, once a new round of fighting happens, that they would be actually better prepared for that. From an Israeli point of view, Ephraim, many people see this as a historic opportunity to finally defeat the Islamic regime that not only threatens Israel, but the entire Middle East, as well as the U.S. So they're seeing this report as just more confirmation that this is exactly what Iran is doing, replenishing, getting ready for the next round of fighting.
Take us inside Iran, if you could, for a moment. What's going on there?
Well, NetBlocks is reporting that 82 days of the internet being blocked in Iran. That's like 1,994 hours and counting. And what this does is that it allows the Iranian regime to suppress the work and the voices coming out of Iran. It's suppressing the people that have gone to the streets since December 28th, protesting the government. Their voice is not being heard. Videos are not being released. And all the while that the Islamic regime is using this time, not only to replenish its arms, as we just talked about, but also to arrest, to execute, torture many of the citizens of Iran. And that story is not getting out like it could be if the if the NetBlocks report would say that this is what Iran is doing, just suppressing. It's part of their playbook. They did it back in June of 2025 to suppress the internet. They're doing it again right now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, I think we maybe have come to the conclusion with, we've done everything we can. Now we got to finish the job.
Yep.
The pressure back home to get the gas prices down and get inflation from going up is going to be a big factor about where the line is going to be drawn, and I think it's drawn. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out a guy that draws lines all the time, and they kind of go this way and that way, and they go this way here.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. With high pressure over our region, conditions stay mostly clear and warming up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny with highs in the mid-80s for Vancouver and Portland through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with sunny skies and highs near 84 in Salem and low 80s for Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with a light north-northwest wind getting breezy around Eugene this afternoon. Sunny to mostly sunny across central Oregon with highs in the mid to upper 70s for Prineville, Bend, and Sun River. Sunny skies and breezy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 78 and low near 48. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny and breezy from the northwest with highs near 70 for Port Orford and Brookings and mid-60s for Coos Bay and down around Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunshine for the Rogue Valley and across the Klamath Basin with high temperatures in the upper 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, mid-80s around Ashland and near 79 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny in mid-80s in Wairika, but warming up to near triple digits for Redding and Chico with highs near 99 or 100. Over in Fort Bragg, patchy fog, then sunny in upper 50s. There will be sunshine across the Bay Area with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, low 70s in San Francisco with a light southwest wind, and today in San Jose, a high near 88. For Central California, sunny and warming up with high temperatures at or around 97 from Sacramento through Stockton, Modesto, Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield, with lows in the low to mid-50s. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op. And on this May 21st, we look all the way back to 1914 when a laid-off Minnesota miner unknowingly launched one of the most recognizable travel companies in America. Swedish immigrant Carl Eric Wickman had failed at selling cars, so instead he used a 7-passenger Hupmobile to drive iron workers between towns in northern Minnesota, charging just 15 cents a ride. That tiny transportation service eventually grew into Greyhound Bus Lines, a company that would become a symbol of American road travel for generations. Here's a fun fact. The name Greyhound reportedly came from a passenger who said one early streamlined bus looked like a greyhound dog racing down the road. By the 1930s, Greyhound connected cities coast to coast, carrying everyone from soldiers and students to musicians and families chasing new opportunities. And for many Americans, those silver buses became more than transportation. They became part of the American story itself.
Wow.
Iconic Greyhound bus line.
Yeah.
Still in existence. They're going through some changes too, though. They got hit pretty hard with COVID. You know, people couldn't sit next to each other.
Yeah.
So the airline industry got hurt too. But they're kind of streamlining, going down different kind of routes. But boy, they've been with us. You know, like I said, they're iconic. We see that Greyhound on the side of the bus.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Jonathan Romney, he's the guy that played Jesus on all of the Chosen series.
Yes.
His own personal story from getting that role to where he is today is pretty remarkable. But he was one of the speakers at the rededication rally there in Washington, D.C. this past Sunday. So here's a little bit of his speech.
God doesn't need prayers from the flawed human who plays Jesus on TV. He wants the prayers of all of his children. Because that's who we are. We are his, and he is ours, whether you realize it or maybe not yet. Our existence on earth is merely a rest stop between the mortal and the immortal, the earthly and the divine. God has always been there long before us, He always will be, now and forever, world without end. And he will always be waiting to encounter us, secretly hoping in his divine, limitless, sacred heart that we will humbly turn away from the trappings of this world and seek him first with all our soul, all our heart, and all our strength, not only as individuals, but collectively as a nation. His deepest desire for us as a people is to love him above all else and to love one another as ourselves. It is in this rightly ordered relationship that the treasures of heaven are then bestowed upon us here on earth. Psalm 33 assures God's promise to a nation faithful to him. But the plan of the Lord stands forever, the designs of his heart through all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people chosen as his inheritance. This is the secret to unlocking his blessing and providence, and it costs nothing. You don't have to pay, despite what the internet will tell you, some random app $2 a minute to talk to fake AI Jesus when the real Jesus is right in front of you, arms outstretched. Arms outstretched, ready to meet you exactly where you are in this moment. So do as he tells you. Go to him, all you who are weary and burdened, and he will give you rest. No matter who you are, or what you've done, or how long it's been, or how bad things might all seem when you get stuck in the doom scroll of it all, simply stop and pray.
Yeah.
Whoa, good preaching.
Yeah, and he's come a long ways. I mean, he'll talk about his journey. He got the job in the part of playing Jesus in The Chosen. And did a remarkable job, and how it changed his life, how it really impacted him, and now he's become quite the evangelist. He has these 1 minute or 30-second spots all over television.
All over.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
really good stuff.
Stop and pray.
Yes.
So good stuff all the way around. All right, we'll take a quick Supreme break.
Okay.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so it just, everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Loneliness can feel heavy, even in a crowded room. But you're not truly alone. God is there with you, and He sees you. He's near, and He cares about every detail of your life. So take a quiet moment today and lean into His presence and feel His peace, His comfort. his nearness, and know that he loves you and that you're not forgotten.
All right, welcome back. Happy Thursday as we go into Memorial Day weekend. Please remember what this weekend's all about. And if you can, if you're in Southern Oregon, go to the dedication, or at least the unveiling, I should say, of the Vietnam Memorial Wall. It's at 1:30 on Monday.
Yeah.
I had Megan Barth on yesterday. She's now the executive editor of the California Globe, which covers California, Oregon, Washington, and around. And I asked her if Steve Hilton was doing well in the governor's race, and are they looking to getting rid of the open primary? You've got to remember, they have an open primary in California primarily as a result of a supermajority messing up the system.
Right.
And now they ended up with these candidates, and it's backfired on them.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, Steve Hilton is the top Republican. He's doing very well, and the Ds are a little upset about it, so they redo their system.
Oh, there's talk about it.
Okay, well, here's what she had to say.
Yeah, he is. According to the latest polls, he's actually leading. I think he might be one or two. It depends on which poll you're looking at. But I expect that he will be one of the top two that make it through the primary. And I believe it might be him and Tom Steyer, who made his billions off fossil fuels, private prisons, two things Democrats hate. But now he's anti-fossil fuels and anti-private prisons. But, you know, you can just switch your principles whenever you want if you're a Democrat, as long as you have a lot of money behind you. And so I do think that Steve Hilton has a very good chance of ending in the top two. There's also Xavier Becerra that is some of the, like Jasmine Crockett, just endorsed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the kiss of death, but she's rearing her ugly head again. So,
Okay.
you know, we'll see how this shakes out. But the Democrats are having a lot of problems in California. And specifically, the head of the Democratic California Party asked one of the 13 people, or at least a handful of the 13 people, to step aside. Just to give you how unprincipled Democrats are, and this is just not California Democrats, this applies a broad swath across the country. The guy behind the jungle primary, one of the advocates, a Democrat strategist behind the jungle primary, which allows the top two candidates, and normally for the last, 30 years, it's been Democrats. Now they want to eliminate the jungle primary because a Republican may be one of the top two, and they certainly can't have that.
So, are you talking about going back to closed primaries?
That's what this ballot initiative that I believe is being concocted in time for the November election, giving voters a choice again, where voters voted on the jungle primary years ago, and now they want to strip the voters of that vote and take it back to the voters because, God forbid, a Republican should ever lead California again.
Okay, what was that about? Say that.
All right. I should have thought of this when I was interviewing her.
Okay.
It's possible that they'll go into session and the supermajority will reverse the from an open primary back to a closed primary
rules
before November.
Well, the governor himself has been reported saying he has a secret plan to stop any possibility of two Republican candidates being at the top, being the candidates for governor.
So what you do is you eliminate one by only having a Republican candidate and a Democratic candidate. And California being run by these people, is that crazy? They could go into special session in Sacramento and since they have a supermajority, say we're just going to put this back to a closed primary system. And here's the Democrat and here's the Republican.
Exactly. And all the same time, out of the other side of their mouth, they'll be saying Republicans are a threat to democracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what they're doing to Christine already.
Exactly right. But we'll bend the rules just because we can.
Yeah.
Yes, because we can.
By the way, one other little side note.
Okay.
Did you know Measure 120 went down in every county?
Right.
Big numbers. That's the gas tax.
Yes.
Which is an indication that a lot of D's voted against it.
I would think so.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that is the open door for the Republicans to capitalize on in every county. All 36 counties went red on that measure, which is the open door for a Republican candidate to win.
Okay, I have a question. Speaking of a Republican candidate to win, we're very disappointed at the primary, the results and how many people got out and voted.
Yeah, 65% didn't.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
Do you expect any kind of change of heart on the part of the voters when it comes to the general?
Yes, it's always a little higher.
Is it? A little higher. Do we need a lot higher?
We need a lot higher.
Yes.
All right. Some great guests coming up, but right now take the classic well-known scripture, John 3:16. For God so loved the world, that's all of us, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, that's anybody, believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. That is the hope of the gospel.
Amen.
Share that with somebody today, okay? And have some strawberries and cream.
It's heaven, sweet refrain, when I sing your name.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Your watchdog of liberty in the nation's capital. Washington Watch with Tony Perkins. Weeknights on theDove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and one of the topics that comes up quite often is online safety. And boy, there's a lot to be concerned about today. I am so honored to have with us today Brent Dusing. He's the CEO and the founder of TruePlay, which is a platform creating safe, faith-based digital content for children. He's a seasoned tech entrepreneur. He previously founded what they call Cellfire, which was acquired recently for over $100 million. He also focuses on how digital platforms, gaming, and AI are shaping the next generation. And he's also been featured on major outlets like CNN, Fox News, ABC News, The Wall Street Journal. But now he's made it to the big time. He's on theDove. He does have a website, trueplaygames.com. trueplaygames.com. And there's a picture of the landing site. Brent, good to see you. How are you today?
Doing great. Good to see you, Perry. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being there. Where are you? Where are we bringing you in from?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. All right. Well, a lot to talk about. Is it true most recently that Google doesn't want you to have an app?
It is. You know, we just last week. So if you guys, for people who are listening, TruePlay is a fun, really groundbreaking entertainment application for kids, video games, digital comics, videos. Google rejected our app update because it says, I'll actually read from this directly. We got an email from Google saying, your app contains violent content which is inappropriate for the intended audience of your app. And so, and then when you show the offending image, I don't know if you can see this you can barely see this, but it's a cartoon image of Jesus on the cross. So we partner with the Action Bible. Many of you might know the Action Bible.
Right.
We have a picture of Jesus on the cross in a cartoon, and it says that content is too violent for children. It says, if your app is not catered towards children between 0 to 12, you may want to reconsider your target audience when filling out the target audience and content section in your Play console. Now let's look at what Google does allow. You might be able to see this. It's hard to see, but they allow ads on Roblox with literally pentagrams drawn in blood, dismembered bodies with blood all over the floor. They allow a game called Diablo to advertise, as you can see right here.
Yeah.
Which, of course, where Satan's the main character. So what Google's actually doing is preventing our app for kids from showing a picture of Jesus on the cross. It doesn't want kids to see that, but it's okay with kids seeing a pentagram with blood on the wall, blood all over the floor, dismembered bodies, games advertising literally about satanic characters. So what Google's basically telling you is they don't want your kid to go to church, because every church I've ever been to has a cross, and Catholic churches, as well as some others, actually have Jesus on the cross at those churches. So Google's really telling you that it's not appropriate for your kids to go to church. That's how dark, that's how evil Google has gotten.
Gosh, this is so much to unpack here. Is there any chance of an appeal?
Well, yeah. I mean, you appeal. This has been our experience. So for the last year and a half, Google won't even let us run ads. So we still have an app. We run the app. You can get it on Apple, by the way, without any problem. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can use it with no issue. And you can use an older version of the app on Google Play, but they've rejected our latest update because of the Jesus image. Google also won't let us advertise. So we can advertise actually on Meta, on Instagram and Facebook, but we can't advertise on Google. We have appealed. And when we appeal, first of all, you talk to these bots that are not helpful at all, and then you talk to somebody really junior over there who tells you to change what you do. I mean, can you imagine if it was any other religion, the type of outcry that would happen? Can you imagine if it was another racial group or a group targeted towards a certain gender, how that would be received, right? If the app wouldn't be able to show really an image that's the most core image of our faith, right, is Jesus' crucifixion. So we have appealed. We've actually spoken to senior people over there who've told us directly they're not going to change their policy. So it's very clear that there's a dark, evil agenda. It's very clear that Google hates Christianity. We're not the only group that's been affected by this. There are other groups. AMAC has been affected by these types of things. We're working with 1792, and we're working with the ACLJ and quite a few other groups who've also been affected or have other people affected by these policies, these big tech platforms, and the way their AI systems are reading Christianity as dangerous.
Gosh, there's so much here. So let me dig a little deeper. What does this mean to your mission, this setback?
Well, I don't really look at it as a setback. I think it's just evil being exposed for what it really is, right? Mm-hmm. So our mission is to go transform the lives of children all over the world with the message of Christ, right? With high quality entertainment. So that's what we've been doing, and we're still able to reach people on Apple, as well as an older version of our app on Google, I really view this as the mask coming off. And I really hope that this inspires a lot of Christians, whether they're people at home or whether people are people in Congress, which we've been spending a lot of time talking about this issue with congressional leaders or policymakers or people in the White House, to really take action. Because at some level, there's a hard discrimination line against Christians by big tech, and Google is the number one culprit right now. TikTok's done this as well. And so in some ways, it actually helps frame the mission, because it helps people understand that, one, big tech really does hate Christianity. It really does hate your kids. And there are contrasts from people who are trying to do good things and uplift children versus those who are really trying to destroy them.
So with your background and what you're trying to do now, we hear bits and pieces how dangerous it really is for young people to be on these platforms. And you've obviously illustrated now what Google's biases are. So how bad is it out there for young people?
Well, here's some facts. So Roblox, which is a gaming platform over 100 million kids use every day, they're the ones who have an ad. They've run, millions of people have seen this on Google ads, where it's a pentagram in blood with blood on the wall and blood all over the floor and dismembered bodies. Roblox has other ads too, with transgenderism for kids as well. Roblox is a platform that has that type of content. They actually had a game on Roblox. It got taken down, but it was on there for a while, where you could recreate a school shooting as the shooter. So there was a school shooting that happened in Uvalde, just not too far from my office in Texas, and so they recreated that. There was also, by the way, a pentagram on the floor of the school shooters in the school shooting game, because that's really the source. It's a very satanic thing to do. And Roblox, they've had countless stories of child pornography, sex trafficking, children being abducted. Just back earlier this year, there was a kid named Thomas Medlin. He was playing Roblox, a 15-year-old in Stony Brook, Long Island. Last thing he did was play Roblox, walks out of his house, gets on a train. Nobody knows where he went. About 6 weeks later, they found him dead in a river in New York City, which is about 2 hours away from Stony Brook. So that's just one story. Roblox has multiple lawsuits coming against them by attorney generals from different states for allowing predators to be coming after kids, for not doing enough to protect children. And it's multiple states that have had this issue. So I would say that in certain platforms, it's actually pretty bad. Roblox is pretty bad. Now, not every video game is bad. There's a lot of benign games that are certainly fine. At TruePlay, we create games that are not only really fun to play and super safe. There's no chat rooms. There's no ads. There's no predators coming after kids. But we also are not just here to be safe. We're here to uplift the child. We're here to teach your child that, hey, you're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Hey, hope and courage are a meaningful part of life. Hey, the Bible's true, and there's really a God who loves you. And that's a lot of what the message is inside of our games at TruePlay.
Wonderful. Recently, the jury found platforms like Instagram and YouTube to be deliberately designed to become addictive. And all you got to do is not find your phone and you realize how addicted you are to it. But are those cases going to help or go anywhere, you think?
Well, I hope so. I mean, the jury verdict was that they were found guilty. It's really going to be interesting to see, given that precedent has happened, because there are other lawsuits, at play. And it's very clear that big tech has been preying on kids. It's very clear that they are aware of the harm. I'll give you another example. There was a study that was made in the UK, which of course is a very similar country to the US, where they tracked teenage girls, and their exposure to social media. So if you show if a girl's on social media for more than 4 hours a day, she's something like 35 to 45% of those girls are clinically depressed. So anxiety, suicide, and depression rates have steadily risen over the last 15 years for children, for people under 18, at exactly the same rise as the proliferation of social media on smartphones. So social media has been shown to cause depression and anxiety. We're at an all-time high in our country on depression, anxiety, and suicide rates. We're at all-time lows on children believing in God without a doubt and biblical literacy for kids. Those things go hand in hand. So to answer your question, this has been a problem for a long time. A lot of people have been aware. I think, unfortunately, it's been swept under the rug because either not enough Christians have stood up, or governmental officials. Some have tried to fight it, some have, but others have been avoiding this issue for various reasons. And now that the truth's come to light, it's time for them to have to suffer some consequences for this.
So, Brent, what do these designers do to make it addictive? What's the formula that makes it so addictive?
Yeah, so it's two different answers. One's different for games versus social media. You know, social media is addictive, and there's a really good documentary about this that came out on Netflix a few years ago called The Social Dilemma. But essentially, you know, what social media often does, especially for young girls, is it just exacerbates peer pressure. You know, peer pressure is, I think, the second most powerful influence in the world after God. That's why people smoke. It's why they do drugs. It's why some people are self-mutilating, because they find a group that they identify with. They view those people as their peers, and then they make these choices. So, one, social media exacerbates that. It puts peer pressure on steroids. It shows people their quote-unquote best moments, or living their best life, whatever that's defined as, and turns the fire hose up on that, so that's a lot of what you see. And then it programs content for you to see, to keep you going and to keep you coming back for all of those types of very kind of addictive but maybe destructive behaviors that have to do with showing yourself off, or bragging, or just getting in a fight with somebody online. With games, the addiction is caused in kind of compulsive patterns. A lot of times those are compulsive patterns to spend. So to give people reasons to buy something, buy an item inside, buy a costume, to identify again with a group online, so that you buy a costume to kind of show off, or to get boosts or superpowers inside games. So the addictive levels are kind of built depending on what the product is, but there are people whose jobs, or actually their job definitions, is to increase the addiction rates for these products.
Amazing. One other thought or question along these lines. Of course, with these high numbers that they produce, it does draw attention to an advertiser. And is it possible that advertisers can be brought up for sponsoring this stuff?
I don't know about that. I'm not an attorney. I don't know I'm not quite sure about how that works. I would say that advertisers should not try to participate in things they think are destructive and harmful. I don't know that it's fair to hold advertisers liable. I mean, imagine if you put a billboard on top of a building that was, say, had a bar in it, and in that bar one night some guy got in a fight and killed somebody else because he got drunk. Is the advertiser with the billboard on top of the building liable? I'm not so sure. I don't think that's really fair. So I think advertisers should be careful who they advertise with, and they should take responsibility as citizens and try to do the best for children. But I think the liability actually goes with the platforms, frankly.
Yeah, I understand that. I know in the past you couldn't charge them with anything, but you could certainly give them a headache by being sponsors of such content.
Well, look at what happened with the civil rights movement in the 60s. I mean, a lot of the strength of that movement was boycotts.
Right.
And a lot of what, I think Christians have kind of sat by silently, where we've gone from, in the 80s, I don't know how much, if you're listening, you remember this, but there were parental warning labels. This is what's so profound. Al Gore's wife, right, Tipper Gore, who's a Democrat, was pushing for warning labels on kids. This was not a controversial issue. Sorry, warning labels on CDs. There was 2 Live Crew. There were other, music groups that had really awful lyrics and content. So they put these labels on CDs, and the idea was to try to prevent young people from being able to buy CDs in these stores, or let parents know what was really at stake. Contrast that to today, where literally we can't show a picture of Jesus on the cross in a cartoon setting, but you can show a satanic pentagram drawn in blood with dismembered bodies. And a lot of it's because Christians haven't stood up for this. They've continued to use products to pay for services that are driven by dark agendas that really have a destructive intent towards Christianity. And if Christians stop buying these products, these companies would absolutely change their policies, because Christians are, by the way, nominally 65% of Americans. So if 65% of Americans, if even a quarter of those, even it's a quarter of that, 21% stopped purchasing, stopped using these platforms. They would absolutely change because their earnings would crater.
This is great. All right, let me take a quick break. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Brent's website, trueplaygames.com. It is a platform created with safe and faith-based digital content for children. Again, it's called trueplaygames.com. There's a picture of the landing page. We'll be right back.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV. The Dove TV is pleased to announce we're now seen in the Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto area via a new full-power TV station, KEDS, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto area on new full-power KEDS TV.
All right, welcome back. What an honor to have with us today Brett Dusing. He's the CEO and the founder of TruePlay, which is a platform creating safe and faith-based digital content for children. He's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing, and he does have a website. trueplaygames.com is the place to go. trueplaygames.com is the website. Brent, so much here. Thank you for your time. Wow. How is AI impacting young people today?
Well, it's exactly with this issue. So if you look at the images that I showed, that we just got from Google, right? Google saying, okay, number one, your app is inappropriate for children because it's too violent. Why? Because there's a picture of Jesus on the cross in a cartoon drawing from the Action Bible. But Google allows ads to be run and allows people to play these games and allows their app updates. Again, Roblox had an app update they allowed where they had school shootings that you could recreate. They allowed an app update where you could have a pentagram and blood with dismembered bodies. I don't quite know how the game worked. I missed that one. They allow Diablo to push their game, which, is about Satan. So that's okay for kids, but it's not okay for kids to see Jesus on the cross. Now, why? It's not like some guy sits behind a desk and pushes deny. It's that AI reads Christianity as dangerous. The reason we haven't been able to advertise on Google for a year and a half is not because, again, it's somebody sitting behind a desk every time we push an ad. It's because AI reads Christianity is dangerous and harmful. And clearly it reads satanic content or transgender content for kids, which is are there ads that Roblox has run, as wonderful, as beneficial, as things that kids need to see. So the real danger with AI is that very clearly with Google and TikTok, it hates the Christian worldview. They're AI models. In other words, AI models are programmed to have a certain level of values. If somebody says to ChatGPT, for example, should I commit suicide? Should I join the Nazi party? It will tell you, no, it's not a good idea because it's been programmed to do so by the people who run it. The problem is it will also steer kids away from Christianity, as you can see, at least with Google and ChatGPT's AI models, will steer people away from Christianity, little kids, and towards satanic, demonic, transgender content. So AI is a huge threat. It's a huge threat to children. It's a huge threat to the Christian worldview when it's run by people who have a very dark, toxic agenda, and that's why we're standing up and taking action. So there's a coalition of us, myself, the Billy Graham Association is involved, the ACLJ, some other great people who Gary Bauer from Family Values, where we're saying, listen, we can't have AI try to destroy the Christian worldview. If it's going to do this to a kid's video game, what's it going to do in a few years when you have determination by AI for who can speak publicly? Can churches still show up on a map app because maybe the Bible contains hate speech according to a leftist worldview? Will it allow Christian groups to receive electronic funds? There are certain Christian groups that were put on the hate group list, like Focus on the Family. Focus on the Family wants people to have children and have babies have a right to life. That's not a hate group. That's actually a love group, or whatever word you want to use. There's people trying to do the right thing. But they were classified as a hate group. So imagine AI blocking them from receiving electronic funding. There's all kinds of ways that AI can have a super destructive effect on not only our society, but especially on the youngest generation.
Well, that's underscored. I've been interviewing quite a few people who are professional Christian counselors, even professional Christian psychologists, saying that people are going to AI for some kind of counseling, and it's clearly void of any Christian virtues. It's just not there,
Well, the people who program these machines either view Christianity as something that's a silly waste of time, or they hate it. It's somewhere in that spectrum. And there's a really interesting historical parallel not a lot of Americans think about. Most people, because all of us, grew up with either the Soviet Union or Russia post the fall of the Soviet Union, basically under Putin or Boris Yeltsin's leadership. But people don't know, before the Tsar was overthrown in 1917, Russia was, since its inception, a Christian nation. For hundreds and hundreds of years, it was a Christian nation. And the Tsar was overthrown, who was, at least nominally a Christian, as far as I understand it. And then there was a power vacuum, and then after a few months, the Bolsheviks took over. The Bolsheviks were dark atheists. They hated Christianity. As a result of them taking over, they destroyed 95% of the churches, massacred priests. They killed. There were tens of millions of people who got killed in gulags. Alexander Solzhenitsyn famously wrote a book called the Gulag Archipelago, which talked a lot about it. But what a lot of the things that the Soviet Union did was it eradicated Christianity. And the point is, it was a small group of people who pulled that off. It wasn't like the Bolsheviks at the beginning, where the majority of people, or even 10% of the population, it was a tiny group of people who had power and seized power. What's happening with AI is it's controlled. Most of the big models are controlled by people, like I said, who they're certainly not Christians, and they either view it as a kind of waste of time curiosity, or as the worst thing in the world. And so most of the people running those companies and most of the people making decisions about the value judgments that the AI models make have a very destructive intent towards the Christian worldview. And that's why we have to stop it. We need legislation to protect America, to protect our civilization from AI destroying the Christian worldview. It's very possible. It's not ridiculous at all to say, hey, we need if AI is going to make big decisions for our society, then it needs to be based on our constitutional values. America is going to turn 250 in, well, I guess exactly 2 months. Today's May the 4th. So we've got to put in guardrails, just like we would for any governmental institution, just like we hope with our political leaders. We ask for our leaders to respect the Constitution. When you get elected president, you have to put your hand on the Bible and swear that you're going to try to uphold the U.S. Constitution. Well, the Constitution was certainly not based on leftist atheist values to try to destroy the Christian worldview. That was never the intent of the document or the Founding Fathers. So we've got to build that in to AI models if they're going to be making decisions for society at scale. And everybody agrees that's where AI is going, right? AI is going to be making big decisions. It's going to, try to make more and more decisions around resource allocation and, unfortunately, about who speaks publicly and everything related to social media and media in general. So we need to get some guardrails in that can keep our society great. And we're a great society because we are based on submission to God.
Boy, that's so well said. Thank you. Let me ask you this before we run out of time. So what do you recommend parents do? They know their kids are on these devices. They know they're going to the platform. How do they get them to try, say, TruePlay?
Well, if you want to try TruePlay, it's real easy. Just go to our website, TruePlay Games. You can sign up. We have a 7-day free trial. You can go directly to the Google Play Store. Yes, you'll get an old version, but you can still use it. Or the Apple App Store. Download it and try it out. We've got over 100 hours of content. We just released a new video game a few weeks ago. There's tons of games in there, digital comics. We have new stuff coming out shortly, daily devotionals, a lot of fun stuff for kids. We're releasing just beautiful stuff all the time. Everything we do in TruePlay is built to be fun. It's built to be beautiful. It's absolutely safe, but everything we do contains God's truth. Everything is based on a biblical foundation, whether it's a story from the Bible like King David's battles or stained glass, or characters, you can kind of see some of them behind me, that are that live in this fantasy world where the Bible's real and God is part of their lives, but they're battling real evil and they're dealing with challenges kids deal with today in a healthy and a constructive way.
That's wonderful. Do you think we'll see some activism on our behalf in the future, maybe legislatively?
I believe so. A coalition is building. There are many Christian groups who have been affected by this. There are a lot of people who care. I think people are starting to see the writing on the wall. There are politicians paying attention. Look, Dario Amodei, who runs Anthropic, which is one of the most successful AI companies, has publicly said there's a 25% chance that AI will destroy us. There's a very famous story about Elon Musk starting OpenAI because he was worried that Google's AI system, the founder, was going to really try to use it to destroy humans. And then he found OpenAI, then he left and had a fallout with Sam Altman. There's a trial going on right now about that. And so when you have, look, we've never had the leaders of corporations publicly say there's a real chance the product that we're building will destroy humanity. We've never had people say that. The only other time that's ever happened was the Manhattan Project, where they were, of course, building a nuclear bomb, but at least that wasn't a commercial enterprise where they were trying to sell it to the average person. So when you have the leaders of these companies saying that there's a significant likelihood it'll destroy humanity, we need to get in front of it and take action. I think there actually are some good people in Congress and the Senate who want to be responsible for the people that elected them, who don't want to be on the wrong side of history. And by the way, most of them might not be able to get elected if AI goes and shuts them down in 3 years because it might not like the things they're saying. So I think that we'll see some action on this.
That's so well said. Boy, you're just an amazing guy with so much information. We'll get you back. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out the website, trueplaygames.com. There's a picture of the landing page. You can try it out for a couple of days and see if you like it. I think you'll find it to be really an amazing product to use, especially with your young people. Brent, you're fascinating. We'll get you back, and thank you for your time. God bless you. Stay in there. We need you, man.
Thank you, Perry. It's good to be with you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, bye-bye.
God bless you.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of like an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
Well, welcome back, and looking forward to our next guest today. Emma Sarah McMillan is with us today, best-selling author and certified behavioral coach, national speaker, and founder of Mother of Change Foundation, a nonprofit organization focused on empowering mothers, strengthening families, and protecting children from exploitation, abuse, and neglect. She's a mother of 8 and a former director of the Women's and Children's Shelter. She's the creator of the Change System, CHANGE system, and which is an acronym, and the host of both Ignite Voices TV and the Mother of Change show, and does have a website, emmasarah.com. emmasarah.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. Emma Sarah, good to see you. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a few moments today. Hey, you were there during the reading of the Bible in the nation's capital. What was that like?
It was amazing. When I say that the Lord was present, it was a prophetic moment, I do believe. As we know, the president is going to be doing the rededication of America back to God next month, and this, I feel, was a precursor. So I actually got to be there just after the statue or the bronze Ezra was rolled out. So I got to see that right on the spot too. So that was amazing.
That's wonderful. And yet, a couple of blocks away, there was another attempt on the president's life. How do you balance that in your heart?
That is a spiritual war. It is absolutely a spiritual war. Whenever you have light, you have darkness, and it's apparent that the enemy knows how powerful that event was. In Scripture, the word is always, not always, but many times, as we know with Nehemiah or like with the book of Ezra, it was found when people found the law, they rent their clothes, they repented, they turned their hearts back to God. So I really believe that the enemy is pretty upset that we did a big thing that day.
How would you, given those dynamics, how would you describe the spiritual condition of America today?
I would say that we're in need of a revival. We're in need of a restoration and a renewal. And the fact that the president is not a perfect man, okay? God uses imperfect people to orchestrate his perfect plan. So I really believe that it doesn't matter where the president is or is not. I believe that as a leader, he's doing the right thing, because our nation, I believe, is in a spot of great degradation. And so if we don't do this, preface it with reading the word and then rededicate it, I think we could have been in some very grave times, but I believe that it's going to be a potential, saving anchor for us.
Tomorrow's the National Day of Prayer. 10 days later, the president on the 17th has called for a national day of prayer and praise and rededication of the United States to be one nation under God. And the day before that, he's encouraging Jewish Americans to recognize the Sabbath from sundown, or from sun up to sundown. So this is an amazing time. We've never had a national leader call the nation to a time of prayer and even rededication of America as one nation under God, which is our national model. This is an amazing moment, don't you think?
I think it is amazing. It's so amazing. I mean, as soon as I heard about the rededication, I immediately bought a ticket. So I was there to, like you said, to cover press for America Reads the Bible, but I will also be at the event for the rededication, because as a woman of God, as a family of 10, I absolutely believe that it's important to be there and put a stake in the sand and say, I'm here to represent the mothers of America, to represent my family and the families of America, to say that we believe that God is, and specifically for our family, it's Yahweh is the God of this nation. And so the fact that the president, our family does honor Shabbat from sundown to sundown the next day. So I didn't know he did that. So to me, that's a great blessing.
Yeah. To your work, Emma Sarah, you work with a lot of struggling moms, vulnerable children. Your heart is obviously drawn to that. You've been called by God to do that. It's an amazing issue in our country. How big is this problem?
It is beyond struggling mothers now. We have the issue of moms who are struggling, and the question is, why are they struggling? And that is because there has been a societal construct that has been aimed at discrediting mothers, taking away the beauty from motherhood. And then we have the soup of ingredients that has impacted the children, whether it is behavioral disorders, whether it's what they've learned or unlearned out of public school, that has created a perfect storm for families, which is kids are out of control, moms are tired, they don't feel valued, society's not telling them that they're valued. And so for a lot of moms, they are struggling because it feels like a losing battle every day when it should be an empowering time. Motherhood should be beautiful. You should raise your kids to be supportive of not just you, but of others. And so I think we need to have a reformation in families, because I believe the future of our nation rests upon the shoulders of families to create change.
Wow. So what does your organization do?
So we are Mother of Change Foundation, and we provide resources. We have a media family. So I have the Mother of Change show, which has 39 episodes on Faith Channel. And it is like therapy for moms from the sofa. I have women who have gone through some very big struggles as mothers, come through the other side, share how to have that victory. We have books. We have, last week we just had a One Voice rally here in Huntsville, Alabama that was on the news to protect children from being exploited, from trafficking, which is huge right now, Perry. It is egregious, the amount of children right now who are either being trafficked or being violated from the people that they should be trusting the most, which is teachers. We've known for a long time it can be teachers, but the numbers are just increasing. Special ed providers, just down the big gamut. So we equip, we empower, and we educate moms how to show up and be their very best, to believe in themselves, so that their children can have trust in them and feel good about being a family unit.
How do you handle the fact that seemingly in public education today, that the number one curriculum is some form of sexual aberration, that somehow that has replaced reading, writing, arithmetic, U.S. history, science? I mean, whoever thought that that would be the number one curriculum in public schools?
Well, I'll tell you, in 2020, when everybody was disconnected from school and we were all online, I heard a very clear voice of the Lord, and he had me go on. I have this on record. In 2020, he said, Emma Sarah, go on and tell the parents who have an ear to hear to not send their kids back to the schools of Sodom, or not send the kids back to the public schools, because they have become the schools of Sodom. Formerly, they were the schools of Babylon. This is what I heard in prayer, and now they're the schools of Sodom. When I told my older son this, he said, well, Mama, in Babylon, they were very articulate. They were known for their mathematics. And, we used to be reading, writing, arithmetic. But now he said it would be the schools of Sodom. God kept his word to me. The warning was right. And when we came back, now it's sexual innuendo. The material is so graphic that they don't even want it read at a school board meeting. And this is where this is where we're at. So I'm always, right now, if I'm on a platform, I'm talking to parents, I'm always telling them right now, please question. I don't blindly follow governmental leadership. Don't blindly follow the public school system. And gratefully, I believe that a lot more parents are standing up and sticking up for their children, which is great. But this is my concern, Perry, is that although there are some really great parents who do not like it and are outraged by it, the truth is that they're still doing a lot of this force feeding in the public school. So as much as you can be upset about it and try to do something, I would always just question and say, if your child is one of the ones that gets violated or it's been shown this very pornographic material, the damage is already done. Is it worth it? And so I'm always asking parents to pray and ask God what to do. There are now charter schools that, may align more with their values. Florida is giving, I think, either a $7,000 or $10,000 stipend for people to use for their children how they choose. So there are options out there.
We've done a lot of generational studies here because we're in broadcasting and we look at trends and things like that. And pretty much what you look at as well. And it appears to me that there are two words that are on most moms' minds: safety and security. Do you think that's true?
That was the poll that you did? Safety and security.
It's safety and security. They're really concerned about the safety of their family, their home, their children, and the security, whether their husband's going to keep this job and all the nonsense that goes with that. What do you think of that?
I'm actually excited to hear that because I've actually done that research in previous years. And I was honestly before formally discouraged because safety wasn't number one for many years. But now we're on the other side of 2020, and now we've seen the Epstein files. And I told you, it's trending right now, all the children that are being hurt. So that actually makes me really glad that moms are now awake and they are concerned about safety. So we do have a situational awareness course parade that we are offering for free. And that link will be put on our site on emmasara.com. Actually, it's already there right now under the Mother of Change Foundation. So for the moms who are looking for answers or how to keep their kids safer, we are providing a solution for that. And I will be partnering with other groups. I'm trying to think, Covenant Rescue has said that they're interested in partnering with me and training families on how to keep their kids safe. And then as far as monetarily, I have a family of 10 and we're really big into entrepreneurship. So I believe that where there's a will, there's a way. Don't ever give up, and to pool family resources, expertise. And, if you don't have any, start to gain some as a family, start to learn. I've raised kids who love to learn. And so it's never a problem to learn a new trade. So I just want to encourage everybody that have some hope because God is on your side. And if you're looking to do His will, His way, He will provide a path.
That's beautiful. Wish I had more time. We'll get you back. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Emma Sara's organization, Mother of Change Foundation. And her website is emmasara.com. Check it out, emmasara.com. And there's a picture of the landing page right there. Thank you, Emma Sara. Good to see you. We'll get you back sometime.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
All right,
appreciate it.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
The Life Essentials Interactive Study Bible by Dr. Gene Getz. The first ever multimedia study Bible with QR codes enabling you to view 1,500 videos. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, or computer with Gene Getz teaching Principles to Live By from every book of Scripture. 250 hours of in-depth teaching. Gene Getz has over 60 years of Bible teaching and is a renowned theologian. The Life Essentials Bible is a seminary in a box. Read, watch, apply. Get yours today for your own spiritual growth or as a gift that will minister greatly to your family and friends. Purchase your copy of the Life Essentials Study Bible at Christian bookstores or go to their website, BiblePrinciples.org. and click on Video Search, where you can access all the principles for free. Take your faith deeper. Get your Life Essentials. Study Bible today at Christian bookstores or BiblePrinciples.org.
Okay, welcome back. Always timely and an honor to have with us our good friend Dr. Gene Getz. We kind of nickname him the Doctor of Calm, but really he is the editor, the chief editor of the Life Essential Study Bible, one of the great biblical resources of our day, which is available at BiblePrinciples.org. A lot of the local bookstores carry this. It is a Bible that has over 1,500 QR codes from Genesis to Revelation. And you can take your QR reader on your tablet or your phone, run it over one of those QR codes. Dr. Getz pops up and walks you through that portion of Scripture. It's literally, I would say it's literally a seminary in a box, a Bible college in a box, and it's being used all over the world. Well, let me ask you a question, and that is, have you ever seen a miracle? And the question is, here's one right here. His name is Dr. Gene Getz. He's a miracle.
Thank you, Perry. That's true.
Isn't that amazing? Good to see you.
Yes.
How are you doing, friend?
Good. Hey, I'm doing great, and always good to be with you.
Thank you. We've selected what little time we have here today, a very important message out of the Old Testament, the book of Judges, dealing with internalizing God's values. This is such a key principle. Walk us through this, Gene.
Okay, Perry. Well, the principle reads, with God's help, and that's so important. With God's help, we're to internalize biblical values. And as you said, the book of Judges, and, as we read in the text itself, that everyone was doing that which was right in their own eyes. So that gives you a pretty good definition of what was happening. But basically the text here in verse 19 of this passage says, whenever the judge died, and this is a series of judges, of course, whenever the judge died, the Israelites would act even more corruptly than their ancestors, following other gods to serve them and bow and worship to them. They did not turn from their evil practices or their obstinate ways. And basically, as I look at this passage, Perry, and this really is the foundation for the principles, is that I see that the Israelites had at least two major problems. One was in the area of leadership. Many of their leaders were inconsistent in their own lives, and that certainly impacted the people that they were leading. And even though they were chosen by God, when the Israelites cried out for help when they were drowning in the depths of despair, and God raised up judges, the great majority of those judges were inconsistent in their lives. And even a man like Gideon, that we raise up as an example in some respects, in terms of how God used him, yet at the end of his life, he turned back to idols, and God had to discipline. So it's not a pretty picture in terms of leadership. But secondly, as you think in terms of Israel crying out to God for deliverance, and in their new freedom, they still allowed themselves to be influenced more by the sinful behavior around them than by their personal relationship with God. And in essence, they didn't love God with their whole hearts, as God had said they should when he revealed his message, to Moses at Mount Sinai, when it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And that created a serious problem. And we see it fleshed out in the children of Israel. And as we all know, Paul tells us in the New Testament, these things are recorded so we can learn. And so there's a powerful principle that comes out of this, and the principle again is that we are to internalize God's values with his help. And boy, I think we really need that today. Don't you agree, Perry?
Oh, totally. You know, I was thinking, because if you read on here, it says, because of this nation has violated my covenant that I made with their ancestors and disobeyed me, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations Joshua left when he died. In other words, we just came through a Sunday here in America where they met in the mall, and the bottom line of that event was to rededicate America as one nation under God. I wonder if we realize how significant that is, because we have drifted from God. We've recognized this. We're turning back. Not everybody, but I mean, the core people are turning back to this. But I think another takeaway is if we don't do that, then God is angry and his judgment prevails. And I don't know if we process that.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think when all is said and done, it gets right back to the challenge of our own families and our parental responsibilities, because government obviously is never going to do what the family is supposed to do. And of course, you're not indicating that or the opposite of that. But I state here when I give the commentary on the principle and the application, I say today many Christians get off the narrow path because they're functioning in a legalistic fashion. The rules they choose to follow are merely external regulations. They've not internalized God's truth, and this failure often leads to inconsistency and hypocrisy. And, you know, that was the problem in Israel. They did not internalize those values. It did not become a part of their heart, of their soul, and consequently, it led to hypocrisy and inconsistency. And unfortunately, I think today, even within Christianity, as parents, because of the pressures of the world system on us, we're allowing this to happen in our own lives, not to internalize God's truth. And that can lead to a form of godliness and denying the power of God. You know, I love Paul's prayers in the New Testament letters, and I record one of them here in Philippians, where Paul says, "And I pray this, that your love will keep on growing in knowledge and every kind of discernment." And the basic Greek word there is epigenosis. The general word gnosis means knowledge, basically knowing, head knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But epigenosis implies experiential knowledge, where it gets beyond just the head and repetition and legalism and rules into our heart, motivated by grace and by love. And this is what Paul's praying here, that your love will keep on growing in epigenosis, experiential knowledge, every kind of discernment, so that you may approve the things that are superior and may be pure and blameless in the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and to the praise of God. And I love that prayer. And of course, the challenge is to make sure that the essence of that prayer gets into our hearts, because the thing that's really going to motivate us to be consistent as parents, as pastors, as Christian leaders is God's love and God's grace, not just rules and regulations, because rules can just be head knowledge.
Right.
Heart knowledge has to come from a deep sense of love for God and for one another. So, it's a powerful principle.
So what practical advice could you give to us today, Pastor Gene, that would help us to eternalize God's values on a daily basis?
Well, I think it's got to be more than just learning the facts of Scripture, speaking these things out of habit. It has to be a part of who we really are. And I think as pastors particularly, we've got to do more than simply teaching even biblical truth. We have to help people apply that biblical truth. And that's one reason I've tried in my ministry over the years to always end Scripture teaching with principles to live by and with illustrations of how we can apply these truths in our own lives. And of course, as pastors, if we're not doing it ourselves, we're not going to be helping our people to apply the Word of God. So we've got to get nitty-gritty in terms of really showing people and teaching people how to practice these truths and to really underscore how important it is that we be consistent in our modeling, not out of obligation. I'm obligated, obviously, to love my wife, but there's got to be a deeper commitment, and that is to love her from my heart, from my soul, and we need to take a lesson, I think, here from what we're reading in the Old Testament.
Beautiful. Well, let me say to our viewers and listeners, just a glimpse of what you'll get if you get one of these Life Essential Study Bibles with these QR codes in it. You can go to BiblePrinciples.org, order them right there on the website. I know the local bookstores here in our area have a lot of bookstores carry them, and that's called the Life Essential Study Bible. Gene, it's so good to see you. Thank you for your time. We value it greatly. And
Barry, love you.
Love you.
Thanks for your ministry.
Oh, thank you. And give your sweetheart a squeeze for us, okay?
I will.
God bless.
God bless you, too.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor space